Good afternoon, YouTube. It is I, Danielle, better known as Danielle Happy Medium. And off the back of the live Q&A I did last night, and a question that was given to me by one of the viewers, we're going to look at the private sitting and how and if we can make the private sitting better. For me personally, I've done private sittings now for about 3 to 4 years, and I have a very big range of different clientele who have come to see me over the years in which that I have sat. Most clientele are more looking for a connection to the spiritual world, but I also get a lot of clients who come to me looking for a psychic or looking to predict the future. So let me sort of help you break it down for those who are coming for the evidential spiritual link and for those who are coming for the psychic ability future predictions. For those who are looking for the evidential or looking to connect to their loved ones in the spirit world, for you as the medium, the first thing, and this would go for your psychic stuff as well, when we are allowing people to come in to have a private sitting with us, it's exactly as it says, personal private sitting. The first thing that I do when I am getting ready for any kind of clientele coming to the property, which I do my sittings at home. Why? Because I think it's that more personal touch there. I do know some people who do them in the office. I think that could be a little stuffy. I'm not saying it's not for everyone. But for me personally, I do them within my home. What I will say to you is make sure that your home is clean and tidy, make sure that it smells really nice, and make sure that you're presentable when you're opening the door to the clientele who are coming to your home. What I will then also say is that make sure that when you open the door, you're friendly, you invite your clientele in, you introduce yourself is really important, and so that they know who you are and they know that they found the right place. Because I know for me personally, sometimes my clients don't always find the right place due to the fact that there's two different addresses. One's road, one's close, so people get very sort of confused. So when they get to me, they can be a little flustered. So the first thing that I always do is just get them relaxed, making sure that they're in the right place. I always leave a light on as well, especially when we have the dark night, so that could be another little hint and tip there I could give you. Also make sure that your phone's switched on and making sure that you're checking your if you have a Facebook page or your emails or however which way that your client has maybe booked with you, they can still get in touch with you if they need them directions there. Once we've got the lovely client in the property, you know, a lot of them want to take the shoes and things off. That's a personal preference for you. It's up to you. Me personally, I just say leave them on. You know, it's a lot easier for the client and they feel a lot better. I will say then, I normally say, like, let me take your coat, let you know, get your client comfortable. What we're looking here is to gain a little bit of trust between you and the clientele before the sitting actually takes place. For those who have come and have never had a sitting before, you're going to find these people to be even more nervous than those who have had sittings in the past. What I would do is if these people haven't had a sitting before, you will need to sit down and explain to people, you know, what kind of sitting it is. So if they're coming for the evidential spiritual link, how it is that you're going to be connecting and who you will be more than likely going to be trying to bring through for them. Explain how you work. Explain that you only want a yes or a no, or you don't know when you're working with your client for the spiritual evidential link there. Once your client's in and you've got them in the chair and you've explained these things, then you can go in and start and do your reading as you would at any other time. For the clientele who's already been, the same still applies, but just remember and remind them on there, yes, no, or don't know is helpful when you're doing your sitting. Once you're doing your sitting, make sure that it's evidence-based, because as a medium, that is your job. Make sure you're not getting in the way. Make sure that you are being as professional and as ethical as always. No swearing, no trying to force the client to take information that maybe they don't understand, but also make sure that sometimes the information can be proven at a later date, but you don't want a great deal of that. Couple of bits, that's fine. Not where the whole reading is all take that away and check that. You know, you want a lot of yeses, a couple of no's, and what you should be doing is making sure that when you get your no, go back to your communicator and make sure that you're asking for more information on the no's in which that you've been given from the client. What I will say to you there is take your time. Don't rush a client, but do keep within your time frame. So whether it's 20 minutes or half an hour, always be aware that, you know, you may have other clients coming in. I know for myself, a lot of clients come a little early And that is unfortunately a problem when you do sittings at home. They can interrupt another client sitting. So what I've done is I put a notice on the door and put please only knock when it is your time, so that the client who is coming to the door knows not to knock, because ultimately you're working there. Once you're in with your sitting, making sure that it's obviously evidence-based, because that's important. I will say here, sometimes a lot of mediums will then, once they've finished their evidential link, will then link over onto a psychic link. So they may start to predict the future. Be mindful when you're predicting the future that you're not predicting for people who are not in the room, nor are you reading for people or pushing upon ethic boundaries there, or people who are asking you about relationships, things like this, when them people are not there and they haven't given permission for that. Babies, house moves, these types of things. Remember, stay within your ethics, stay away from health, also stay away from legal issues, because you are not a qualified doctor, nor you're a lawyer there either. Also watch when you're predicting any kind of money, again, because there's legal issues around this. We as people who are trading money or come under the Trading Standards Act, and you can and will be sued for giving off false information on a psychic link that does not come off to be true, right and accurate there. So staying within the ethical boundaries is really, really important here. Me personally, I don't do any psychic work. I only do evidential mediumship. I have done psychic work in the past, but as the law is changing and as the world is changing at large, we need to be very careful when we're predicting here of what it is that you're predicting, because ultimately you can become a nosy psychic, which is pushing upon people's personal boundaries. And two, you could also be sued, or you could be done under the Trading Standards Act for predicting stuff that has not coming off, which is misleading the client and is also telling the client something that they thought was going to come in there and then subsequently does not. And the problem with psychic stuff is, as much as we may be able to see foretell the future, every client that comes through your property has free will, and they can alter and change the path at any given time there. So where you may have predicted one thing, they might have then changed their mind and gone on to do something else, which will ultimately dismantle anything that you have predicted. Once you have done all these things and you have kept to your time, and if you have a client who may be in tears here, you need to give a little bit of time for that. You have to be a compassionate and empathetic, but please do not, as the sitter, as the medium, or as the reader, push on or give your thoughts and feelings or life things that have gone on within your life. It's nothing to do with the client. It is about their time and their space. You will always be compassionate and always be ethical and always have empathy for the client, making sure that there's hankies on the table, making sure that the space in which that they sit in is comfortable, so that if they feel a need to express some tears, they can do that. And this is where the relationship or trust with you and your client is fundamentally one of the best that you can get. Because if the client can open up and relax, we're not wanting them to give us information. We just want them to be able to become our best friend for the next half an hour, because as you're working as the medium, you're bringing through their loved ones who was very special to them at some point in or all of their life there. So what you need to be bearing in mind here is this relationship needs to be established. But like I say, making sure that there's hankies and things there. Give your client a moment. Allow them some time. Even if this client is knocking at the door, you can then get up and say, look, can you give me a couple of moments? This lady's just sort of getting herself together. You do not need to tell these people at the door what's been going on within the room. You just say, my client needs a few moments there. I will come and get you when we're finished here. And most of the sitters that I work with are quite happy and quite confident with that. Once your client has got themselves into a good place, and remember, you're responsible. You do not want people to be going away driving in floods of tears, because ultimately people can do really, when their sensory system is not working properly, when they've been for sitting and they're getting themselves very upset, what can happen is they can be, judgment can be a little impaired. They may not be watching what they're doing. So we always have a personal responsibility to the client and making sure that they're in a fit and well state before they leave the property in which that they have been sitting in with you. Once all this is done, you thank the spirit world for coming forward. You thank your client for the time. You ask them, are they happy with their sitting? Is there anything that they feel that they would like to talk to you about? If you have time here, remember, you've got to be mindful of the time, but not where we're rude with the clientele either. But if you have a few spare moments and they just need a couple of extra questions answered, then by all means do that. It is our job to be as accommodating to the client as possible. We will unfortunately get the rude clients, we will get the aggressive clients, or clients who are not completely happy with the service in which that you provided. It is up to you within your terms and conditions of which that you put upon your page or your website, or where there's been an exchange of money. And if you are running a reputable business or running a reputable living from this job in which that you do, you will need to have terms and conditions up, and you will need to have a refund policy up within your terms and conditions on your page, Facebook profile, or whatever it may be there, so that if there should be an issue with the law or with the trading standards, you have these as backup there. Some of them, personally myself, I refund if my client is not completely happy. I have no problem with that. Sometimes I just don't get it as a medium. Bear this in mind when you're working, that sometimes certain readers and you will just not go, and it's just how it is, unfortunately. And sometimes it's best just to refund the money and express to them that they may be better suited with another reader. There's many different spirits with very different vibrations, and also a lot of different mediums or psychics, all with lots of different vibrations there, and not everybody's personality or vibration is going to meet. So as a sitter, please be mindful of this. For the reader, also be aware of this, that some readings may go exceptionally well, and there may be one or two that maybe just does not quite click there for you, and that's nothing against you as the reader, nor is it for them that is the sitter there also. So in this video, I hope I've been able to help you, the general public, and also the readers out there, to be mindful of how you sit, the way you do your sittings, and making sure that you keep within the law so that you do not break any laws that is out there. Because unfortunately in this business now, you are accountable for all that you say, for all of the money that you take, and you will eventually become accountable not only to the law but also to yourself with your personal responsibility. It has been a pleasure as always. I hope everybody's well here on the channel. Thanks for them who joined me last night, which was on the Q&A. There is a next one scheduled for a week Wednesday, so I hope you will join me on the 13th, and I can certainly answer more of the questions that you, the general public, or the budding medium may give to me. But for now, I've been Danielle, better known as Danielle, the Happy Medium, and I'll be seeing you all very, very soon.